Right. So, good evening, Graeme, or good morning
Hey,
for you,
good
actually.
morning.
Good
Yeah,
afternoon,
yeah,
yeah. So, this is Graeme, and he's one of our TIR consultants, so Thinking into Results with Bob Proctor. And I just think he's actually been an inspiration to me. And I know that he's going to be an inspiration to even my son when I can eventually get him on the call. That,
absolutely.
for
Yeah,
somebody of your age, you're 25. And yeah, I just think
just
you're
turned 26.
26. So you've moved
Yeah,
up now, moved
I
up in
moved
the
out. Yeah, I'm over the hill now. I'm over the hill.
so you have my age.
Yeah,
Well, not quite, just not quite. Yeah, I'm not 52, I'm just 50. Yeah, so it's yeah, I just wanted to hear more about your story, and I just think that your story is going to be an absolute inspiration to other people out there, no matter what age, whether they're 25 or whether they're 50. And just yeah, I'll just rock it over to you, Graeme. Now, how did all this entrepreneurial journey get started for you?
yeah. I started probably about 5, 6 years ago. So I was in my second year of university, and I was studying to be a doctor. So that summer, I had taken a summer class, so I was only able to work for about 2 months. So there wasn't many good jobs out there, and there was this one company called College Pro Painting. I don't know if you guys have it down in the UK. It's like a student-run painting company. That's the only job I could get. So I did that for 2 months. The franchisee, the guy that kind of owned the franchise, had really liked me essentially. So he took me on a bunch of estimates and kind of like learned how to run a painting company. And then the next summer I took school again for that year, and then the summer came up and he wanted me to be a franchise owner. And I heard about all the royalties and stuff like that. And I was like, oh, screw it, I can do it on my own. So that's what I did that summer. I partnered up with one of my buddies, and we were more so like self-employed than like actually running a business. So we did a lot of the painting ourselves and got under this one guy that kind of taught us like the whole painting trade. I had like 2 employees that year, making decent money, but didn't really think much of a career of it. And then went to school again that year. And then I was kind of like, okay, you know what, like let's take this to the next level. So I partnered up with one of my other friends that was in business at the time. And that's when we kind of like started to expand the company. So we went from like just me and my one friend to about 15 employees that one summer. Made a bunch of money. Actually did it like the next year during school too. So we got into renos, all that stuff. So it was like a full-time job as we were taking school too. And I was kind of like at the turning point where I was like, well, I'm making all this money and I don't really want to do like another 12 years of school to be a doctor. So I just finished my biochem degree. I'm not really using it now, but I have a biochem degree, and just kind of went full time into the painting and rental company. So from there, I don't even know what we were doing in sales, but we had like about 15 people. Um, Probably did that for about a year with the one partner, and then my partner kind of left and joined up his dad in a financial company. So at that time, that's kind of at a crossroads. It's like, oh, is I'm going to keep doing this, or am I going to go back to school and kind of like be a doctor? At that point, it worked out really good, kind of like how the universe works. I met my other partner who had just finished up with his drywall business, and he had run like 150 guys. Like he knew so much about drywall, like the know-how of running a business. So partnered up with him. That's when things really started to take off. So that was probably like 2.5, 3 years ago. So we went from like 1 million in sales to 3 million in sales. Last year we did 4.5. This year we're on track to do 7. I joined this one company called Breakthrough Academy, which is like a consulting company for trades businesses. And they really help like dialing in the systems. So that was probably about a year and a bit ago now. And before that, like we had 3 million in sales, but it wasn't like a healthy 3 million. We were like just breaking even, just pretty much like bought ourselves another job. So at that point, when we joined BTA, we really dialed in like the structure of the business, really working on the business instead of in the business. And that's when stuff started taking off in terms of like money wise. So we went from like probably a 0, 1% net to like an 8% net, which was a huge jump just through them. But at that point, I kind of realized like, oh, I was making all this money, but like something was still missing. And that's when I found Bob and started really to dive into his material. So I joined a Lead the Field program, which is very similar to TIR. I don't know if you've taken it, Sheena, but it's kind of like, I find it more like spiritual and out there. So TIR is more like structured, like here's your goal, this is how we're going to hit it. Lead the Field is like kind of a more so emotional journey. You kind of go through it like on your own, which I really liked and I really needed. Because at that point I was making money, but there was still something missing. Like I still wasn't happy. And then I kind of found it through Lead the Field. Like Bob just like hit me over the head and like what you really want, what you really want to go after. That's when I kind of like fell in love with the material, the mindset stuff. I just changed like completely as a person, like completely changed my friend group, like just going after a lot bigger goals. I think the first time I met David, my goal was like 1 million net. And I think he talked about it on the call too. And I laughed at it. Like I didn't really believe it. And then as soon as he said it, he's like, oh, you don't really believe in it, do you? I was like, well, I guess not, like if I'm laughing at it. And then when he said, he's like, when you take your goal seriously, I'll start taking it seriously too. And I was like, shit, you know what, this guy's right. And then literally like, I don't know, probably 2-3 months into the course, we booked a job that was going to net us $1 million. So just like a couple months into it, just like really going through Bob's material. I don't know if there's really one thing that kind of changed the course of like the business and like my life. It was just like an accumulation of like those 3-4 months in that program. And Dave was an awesome coach too, but I just got so much out of it that I wanted to teach other people what I went through too. And that's why I decided to be a consultant with TIR. But just like in terms of the numbers, this last quarter was our best quarter. We made like $350,000. I'm taking a lot of people through TIR right now that are in our company. So there's 4 people that have just finished up with it. And I don't think it's any coincidence that since they're finished up, our company is doing that much better. So yeah, that's like long story short. But yeah, it's been an emotional journey, been an awesome journey. Like Dave was kind of talking about like the terror barrier this last month too. Like in Lead the Fields, Bob talks about like A-type, B-type, and C-type groups of like money earners, and going from like the B-type to the C-type. B-type is like when you know you can earn more income, but you're not actually going out and getting it. And the C-type people are those people that actually want to go into that next bracket of earning a lot of money and really like just jumping in like 2 feet forward. I feel like that's what I'm doing right now. And like the terror barrier is freaking hitting me so hard. I'm finally like getting over the hump, but yeah, it's intense, and getting comfortable being uncomfortable is definitely a stretch, but yeah, it's good.
Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? It's getting comfortable being uncomfortable, because that is the thing. The terror barrier can seem to go on for quite a bit of a time, can't it? You know, so you must have even had it right, even with Lead the Field, and then going into thinking into results, you know, and now they just get bigger, or has you found that it, because you understand it more, that it's actually, it is getting easier? But
yeah, I don't know if it gets like easier by any one time. Like if I look back and see like the terror barriers I went through when I was in Lead the Field, I'm like, oh yeah, that's nothing. Just because I've like grown so much as a person. Like back then, the one terror barrier was like leaving the friend group that I was in. So I had been friends with them for like 10 years, whatever it may have been, and just kind of realized like it wasn't like a bad thing or anything. They were just different. So they didn't want like as big of the goals I wanted to go after. They're just like different people. So kind of like realizing I had to leave them to get to a different point in my life, like that was a big terror barrier at the time. But now if I went through that, I'd be like, oh yeah, no big deal. It happened just like that. But for me then it was like a couple week terror barrier. And I know like a couple months from now, I'll look back on this terror barrier and be like, oh yeah, that was nothing.
yeah.
But right now it's like, oh shit, this is tough.
I mean, and to have that growth at your age is just absolutely phenomenal, you know. So I mean, I'm working with people as well who are, you know, 40s and 50s, you know, that conditioning that you've had for all those years, you know, being in a job and doing 9 to 5, and then to think, like I was just speaking to one guy before our call, and he's just like, whoa, I wasn't expecting this call on a Friday afternoon. I've been thinking about this, and now I'm on the call talking to you about it. It literally blew him away. He literally had to more or less go and sit down for a week. And I said, how often have you had to sit down for a week to think about things? You know, how often does that happen? So it's
awesome.
that sort of, you know, that conditioning is a lot deeper in some more people.
Yeah, the paradigms. And like like you just said, when you actually have those conversations, when you ask them the right questions and kind of give them little snippets of Bob's materials, they're just like, oh my God. Like you talk to them a week after and they're like, that's all I can think about. Like I just thought about our conversation. And it could be like a 10, 15-minute conversation.
Yeah.
Like I talked to one of my buddies about something yesterday, just about kind of like the subconscious mind and how he's essentially programmed himself into not getting this job that he's about to interview for. So even he told me, he's like, oh yeah, I don't think I'm going to get the job. It's like, oh, have you done the interview yet? It's like, no, not yet. Like it's in a couple of days. It's like, why are you even saying like you're not going to get the job? If you're telling me that, like you already believe it, it's already in your subconscious that you're not going to get the job. And he just texted me right before this call. He's like, I was thinking about that all night. I couldn't sleep. I was like, I don't know why I do that. It's like, yeah, it's crazy, like the paradigms that people have developed over the years. And when you actually like study this stuff and like begin to understand it and share it with people, like you said, like the conversations are just so much more deep, and that's all I can think about.
One of the things I noticed with being on a cruise was that whenever you have so many different cultures of people on the cruise, and I was able to sit there and look at groups of people and their paradigms, how people walk the same way, talk the same way whenever they're from the same, culture. That was something then, but nobody else knows that. You don't know that whenever you're in the middle of it, and that's what I found was, pretty amazing. Is there anything I know you said there wasn't really one thing in thinking into results, but there must be some other moments, that things that you read where you had an awareness of a change of mindset.
The decision chapter really hit home. I don't know about back then, but now it definitely does. Just how like the most successful people in the world make decisions really quickly and rarely change them, if at all. So back then, I feel like I really pondered decisions and like really waited on them and didn't really like trust my team in a sense. And it's reading that chapter and kind of realizing that the reason really successful people make decisions so quick is because they have like really good intuition, and they know like the people they've hired, the teams they've put in place, and when that decision comes and when they decide on it, they're just like so sure it's the right decision because they trust themselves that much. And I think back then I didn't really trust myself because I wasn't studying the right material and I didn't really have that intuition. But now, like when I make decisions, it's lightning quick, and I believe that when I make those decisions, they're the right decisions because I've studied enough, I've got the right team in place that we can handle it. So I feel like I've grown quite a bit as a person because of that like chapter essentially, and also by letting people delegate to people, I've been able to grow a lot more in business, and you can see from the results too, like the best quarter we've had, just because I'm really letting like our team just deal with the things. I've put them in the right place to deal with it. So
one of the things that people say to me is that, oh, I'm already doing a course, and I mean, I've already done a course and a course and a course and a course, like the personal development that I've done over the last 10 years, never mind the professional qualifications before that. And so what would you say to people that just going, what is the difference in thinking into results and anything else?
Lesson number 2, the knowing doing gap. Like you just said, like so many people, like our whole society is like more degrees, more degrees, more degrees, but nobody actually like takes those degrees. Well, some people do, but nobody actually uses that knowledge for bettering themselves and actually like going out and doing it. They know all this stuff. It's all in like the subconscious mind, but they never rarely go out and actually perform the actions. Lesson number 2 is so good.
Yeah. And what about the repetitive? Because it was like reading the same thing over and over again. I mean, before, like I'd read, I was so proud that I'd read 500 books. And now I'm reading the same book, like 30 days in a row.
Yeah. Well, Bob talks about that. Like, say, like you're just reading something, especially when you're reading something as deep as like Think and Grow Rich or like TIR, some of the material. Like you're reading something and then you read something that just like hits you and you kind of go off on a little thought pattern. So you're back up here, but you're still kind of reading the words. So you miss stuff down here because you're in your own little world. And you come back down, you're reading, and another thing hits you. You're back up here. But if you read that again, when you think of something, it's going to be at a different point.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
once you get the repetition, you like catch so many different things that you wouldn't catch the first time.
Oh my God. Yeah.
It's the same
Even
thing with like listening to the recordings too. Like you can listen to it like 100 times, and on the 101st time, like, oh shit, I didn't even realize this was in here.
yeah.
Or you just like grow so much as a person. So like, say even like a month down the road, when you listen to it, you're gonna be such a different person. You can listen to the exact same thing, but it's gonna cause such a different impact on you
Mm.
because you understand it at a deeper level now because you've grown.
Yeah. No, it is. It is. It's amazing. I just go, I did not hear that before. It's
Yeah.
just, yeah, it's so funny. It's like
Yeah, well,
literally
you may
getting,
have heard it, but like you just weren't like on a different level of awareness, so it just like flew right by you.
I know. I mean, like this book, wasn't it? Our Bible, basically, the thinking into results. That I remember whenever I listened to David and he said, it's like I picked this up and it's like I've never read it before. And it's
Mm-hmm.
pretty obvious I've read it because it's more or less fallen apart now. So it's just like going, I now get exactly what he means. That it's just like whole new material for me. So
Yeah, it's 'cause you're growing
what's
all the
next for
time.
Graeme then?
Well, my big C-type goal is work with 100 businesses. So I want to be a part of 100 businesses. And I really want to work with the business owners in terms of getting the structure, systems, accountability, all that dialed in, and then also work on their mindset. So I think there's two really big parts to running a business. There's like the know-how, like the structure, systems, all that, and then the mindset. Because you can be making a lot of money, but you can still be really miserable.
Mm.
So you actually have to know what you want to go after, and that's like the mindset aspect. And that's where I was a couple months ago. Like I was making decent money, or even before that, like I was working super hard and I should have been making a lot of money. Then I got like the systems, the structure in place, and then I was making good money, but something was still missing. So that's when I got the mindset aspect and found out what I really wanted to do. And I found out I'm really passionate about helping people and especially helping people in business. So
Mm. Actually, that's what I wrote down actually before this call. I was doing some work on myself and I actually wrote down business is the mind because mind is everything. And if you don't literally have the right mindset for your business, then, and everybody's on the same, same sheet, it's
mm-hmm.
not going to work. And yet that's one of the things that I find that companies don't work on the belief of their employees. They put the systems in place and they teach them the systems and processes, but actually they're not dealing with the belief of the person behind there because everybody's so used to saying, yes, sir, no, sir, 3 bags
Mm-hmm.
full, sir, but then actually don't believe in anything that they're doing. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So that's like one thing I forgot to mention too. Like that's just kind of one aspect of my story, like the paint and the drywall stuff. I forgot to mention too, like with my goal of 100 businesses, it used to be. Just let me ignore that call here. 2 seconds. No
Yeah.
worries.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when I first started taking David's course, Lead the Field, I wanted 10 businesses. And at the point, I had like 3, and I set it out for like 2 years. And I got my 10th business like a month ago. So I got 10 companies, and like the paint and drywall are only 2 of them. So it's just like forgetting the how. Bob always says, like, if you asked me then, like if I was going to have 10 businesses and how I was going to do it, I have no idea. But
Yeah, so that's the thing about goal setting, isn't it? It's literally to go for things that you just don't even know how you're
yeah,
going to get, but just to set it anyway, if that's your passion, your desire. And so many people are trying to connect the dots going forward, aren't they?
yeah, but you don't need to. You just gotta forget about the how. And like Bob always says, like the lines are connected, like the frequencies are connected. Like you look back, or I look back, and I can see like the specific points, like when I met this person, that's when I kind of jumped up this frequency, and then I did this and got to this frequency, and that gave me this business, and like it is all connected. But while you're going through it, you have no idea. It just happens so quick because you're just thinking about that end goal.
Mm.
You're thinking about like that high frequency and how you get there. And then once you finally do get there, you look back, it's like, oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I've looked back at my whole life of 50 years. Don't worry, I can connect all the dots now.
Yeah.
So the next 50 years are just going to be absolutely, that's where, really, really skyrocket. But listen, that was just absolutely awesome, Graeme. That's why I wanted to have a chat with you, because I just thought, at your age, to see this forward going and just literally just making it work, I think is just absolutely brilliant. And it was about the thinking into results. It was about the Bob Proctor work and how literally it's helped you grow. So that's absolutely brilliant. So
Yeah,
I'll stop the recording now for everybody, unless there's any last words that you want to say for anybody who's watching this.
Yeah, I was going to say, joining out with Bob and studying under him has probably been one of the best decisions I've ever made. It's had the biggest impact on my life. Not only like the monetary results, just like the results in terms of like personal growth have been absolutely huge. Like so much happier. I used to get like really bad stress headaches too. I forgot to mention this. So like back when I was running my business, like awful like stress headaches, and just like 2 months into Bob's stuff, I just stopped getting them. Like there's so much more than just like the money aspect you get from Bob's stuff. It's just like just like personal growth side, it's absolutely massive. So yeah, if you get a chance, definitely work with Sheena. She's one of the best. So
Well, yeah, actually, that's one of the things that I say to people, because people do get stuck at money. Then when we get past the money, I just go, actually, unless you create peace of mind, first of all, unless you have that, then nothing else is going to work in your life. And actually, that if there's anything that this program does bring, it brings peace of mind. Yes, you feel uncomfortable and you go forward and you're growing, but you actually have peace with that, rather than going the other way and fighting yourself, which is what it felt like. My life before was fighting myself. Now it's a different sort of fight, because it's going forward and it feels like, I know where I'm going. It just does. It's scary.
yeah, when you break it down, really, like what's the difference of earning 200,000 as opposed to like 5 million? You might have a nicer car, nicer house, whatever it may be, but like you still have to be really passionate about what you're doing. And that's what TIR helps you find, is something you're really passionate about doing. And once you're really passionate about doing something, I mean, it's not even work anymore. Like look at Bob, he's freaking 85, 84, whatever, how old he is. And he's just loving it. He's got so much energy and he's just passionate about what he does. And he's never going to retire. And I think that's the point where everybody should get, where they don't want to retire. They should be so passionate about what they're doing that it's not even work. And that's what TIR helps you find, is something you're really passionate about. At least for me, that's what it helped me do.
No, that's super. I'll end the recording now. I'll have a chat with you after, but that's just absolutely super. So thank you very much, Graeme.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
See you. Bye.